Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the WCW Worldwide Review Series for March 7th, 1992. I love the worldwide shows. Have not seen these all the way through before, so worth taking a peek at from my perspective. Anyway, uh, actually going to try and fit as many of these as we can in. This is the new series, but we've literally got 1,300 plus audios available for your listening pleasure. George South, who is a mainstay enhancement talent against Marcus Alexander Bagwell at the time. Bagwell, of course, who's been in the news as of late due to legal issues with alcohol and substances. But here, still a young rookie or close to it, probably about maybe at most 2 years in the business at this point. GWF before here and then WCW. Arm drags, drop kicks, and the like. Uh, the benefit of George South is that he will sell for you like $1,000,000, even if you don't deserve it or you're not ready yet. And South manages to be a super good seller for Bagwell here. Back suplex by South at a point and gets Bagwell some much needed ring time and repetition. Uh, Punch kick, basic stuff, and Bagwell sends the man off the rope, big back body drop, and you can obviously see that they want to do something larger with Bagwell. He ends up hitting the perfect flex, the fisherman suplex, and ultimately uh, Barry Windham talks about wanting to get his hands on members of the Dangerous Alliance, which happens later today. A young Eric Bischoff is the man to interview him for that purpose. Brian Pillman Sr. is up next as a, or actually Tracy Smothers is up next as a guy of value here. I said Pillman just because you think of Pillman when you think about guys who have that southern look who bump around, and mistook him for a minute when I was writing my notes here. But Dustin Rhodes, who is been around for a couple of years at this point, Rhodes hits a couple of clotheslines after an arm drag, sends Tracy Smothers to the outside of the ring. Smothers brawls with him, sends him back first into the apron, and tries to get every advantage he possibly can. Some of them underhanded. Good match here if you like just basic heel babyface storytelling. Wild Eyed Southern Boy is not backing down from Rhodes. They do the goofy 10 punches in the corner, which I never understood how he didn't wind up with a mark, so that kind of kills the image of the business here a little bit. But Tracy Smothers, super athletic, super powerful in terms of influence, and we see him with a attempted diving back splash, almost like a moonsault, not quite. Bulldog by Rhodes, who manages to get a victory here and ultimately goes back on his winning ways here in WCW at the time. Beginning of the Vader promos, Vader promises that he feels no pain, fears no man, has won championships on multiple continents, and that he, now that Sting is the world champion, is coming for Sting in the WCW title. Vader at this time, through about 90, end of 93, super, super talented guy, and probably one of, if not the best in the world in terms of heels. Taylor Made Man and the Z Man, they go back and forth. During 1992 is a pretty big thing. Z Man rolling up Taylor and Taylor kicking out. Taylor kind of lost in the shuffle after the breakup of the York Foundation, or his breakaway from same. Taylor goes to the outside, does not want to contain or stay in the brawl. Z Man goes down and kind of, gets arm bars and arm drags and the like basic stuff. Takes the man down. Taylor drops the knee across the back in the hammerlock. Tries to slow the match down. Terry Taylor, if you haven't followed our UWF / Mid South series, worth doing that for his best work of his career. Taylor manages to botch a top rope splash and come up awkwardly on the knees of the Z-Man. Z-Man sends Taylor up into the crowd. up into the lights with a backdrop, and Taylor eventually gets the victory with a pull of the tights. 1, 2, 3, away we go. Uh, Greg Valentine here comes in as the new partner of Terry Taylor. I think they might have debuted on TV before here, but Valentine and Taylor end up as partners over the next little while. Valentine, of course, uses the figure 4 on a Pro Zinc, and Bagwell, of all people, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, makes a run in. Sting does a press conference post the Super Brawl deal, says he'll wrestle anywhere in the world, mentions wanting to wrestle a Great Muta and be a fighting champion. Post Super Bowl angle is really good. Rick Rude wants to congratulate Sting, says that Sting is, in fact, you know, just holding the championship for him and offers to drink with Sting. Sting is not impressed with this, says he's not going to drink with Rude. Rude throws a drink in the face of Sting and they brawl around, setting up their main feud. Post that, there is a interview from Paul Heyman and Rick Rude. Basically, Rude saying he's the natural number one contender because of his holding the U.S. Championship, and it is a really awesome promo, worth going out of your way to see. Rick Rude at this time, to me, 91, 92, the prime of Rude's career in a lot of ways, in terms of, I think he was used better in WCW than he was as a heel. Then one of my favorite feuds of the time is kind of escalated here, Barry Windham and Steve Austin. Windham carrying Austin to, or leading Austin more accurately, carrying an overstatement because I think Austin was more than capable, but leading Austin to some of the best matches of his career at the time, maybe ever, in terms of just back and forth. They brawl, and Austin, still your television champion. Eventually, I believe it was on Saturday night, but Windham manages to eventually wrest the title away from Austin for a little while. Austin brings Windham into the ring the hard way after brawling with him on the outside, goes up and over for a backdrop along the way. Beautiful stuff, beautiful moves, and ultimately Austin goes back to the outside. They continue to brawl around. Big lariat out of the corner by Austin, as opposed to Windham, who is the Texas lariat where you'd expect it to come from. Medusa is outside managing Steve Austin. Don't know why she's out there more than Paul Lee as it relates to Austin at this time. Just interesting to me that there is that notation. Run in on Barry Windham by Larry Zbyszko, who Zbyszko had been half of putting Windham on the shelf in the weeks prior, and obviously they are going to do battle eventually as well. Taylor-Made Man and which is Terry Taylor and Greg Valentine, promised to hold on to the U.S. Tag Team titles into the future, and that will close us for today, as that is the the promo that closes the show. But until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.